Hi, everyone. Welcome to our third Fieldlens webinar of this three-part series. Thank you once again for taking the time out of your day to join. Just as a reminder, as it was just mentioned, this webinar will be recorded. That recording will be sent out. The slides will be sent out afterwards, as well as any applicable Q&A information. Just wanted to run through a quick agenda, just so you can expect what we have on the agenda for today. First, I'll go through introductions. Don't have a lot of intros to do, but I'll go through those. Then I'll do a brief synopsis of who RedTeam is. Then we'll really get into the meat of the subject matter and talk about the main challenges that subs and specialty contractors face on the job site and how Fieldlens can really help address those challenges. And as we go through the demos, there might be some questions that come up. So I'll address those questions at the end of sort of each demo session. And then lastly, we'll give you an opportunity to take any next steps, whether it's signing up for a free version or taking the next step to sign up from your free version to an upgraded version of our pro version. So you can do that. We'll allow you, we have QR codes on the screen. We'll allow you to do that. So kind of makes an easy and quick transition. And then if you have any questions throughout the duration of the webinar, you can also save those to the end, and we'll save some additional time for a little more Q&A. So first, just wanted to get into introductions. We have Carrie Melly on the call as well. She's a subject matter expert on Fieldlens and all RedTeam mobile apps. So she's going to be a wealth of knowledge here, helping me address any questions and providing her insight as well. Then we have myself. My name is Eric Jansen. I'm an industry specialist here. I am a former construction project manager, as well as a Fieldlens user in my construction management days. So really excited to be here and hopefully share as much knowledge as I can with you as well. So just a little bit about RedTeam. RedTeam was built by experienced contractors who really understood the power of technology and how it could enhance and help the construction industry. Our software solutions, they include both customizable and ready-to-go products that at this point in time have a proven track record. We've helped contractors of all shapes and sizes benefit from both our field and construction management tools to really streamline their workflows and achieve really successful project completions. But today, I just want to mention it's really focusing all about you all, the subcontractors or the specialty trades that really make the job site happen. When I first heard that was going to be the topic for this upcoming webinar, I got really excited and I instantly thought about all the plumbers and foremen that helped me through my days. So I really was excited to lend an entire webinar to you all and really just think about all the times that I was saved and helped pulled through and spend those extra hours on the job site or maybe coming in on a weekend. So this is all about you guys, tailored to your challenges, trying to make your lives easier, and then really take advantage of this time to answer and ask any questions that you have. So thank you all, of course. So this first section is kind of helping to paint some of the pictures of the challenges that we really thought of when addressing the subcontractor challenges. The first section, it's kind of going to be a series of images and going to be kind of an empathetic view of, we've all been there, understanding the challenges that we all faced on the job site. So just keep that in mind when I kind of explain these next, and then moving forward when we go into the demos and talk about these different challenges. So this first one kind of came to our minds is, the instruction was given. Yes, the room's ready for you to come, ready to work on Monday. And then you show up to the job site on Monday, and this is what the room looks like. On the left-hand side, everyone on the job site is piling into that exact room. You think everyone and their mother is about in that room doing something, and then on the right-hand side, this is what the room might look like. In no way, shape, or form is this room ready to work done. Doesn't matter if you're installing baseboard or drop ceiling. This just is not a room that you want to go in and do work on that day. So that's kind of what we thought about. One of the challenges is trying to keep everyone on the same page, having that transparency so everyone knows that their place is in fact ready to work. So that's obviously something we want to eliminate. And when I talk about in the future, keeping everyone on the same page, that's what we're going to kind of go back and think about in our mind's eye. Next is, kind of on the other side of the coin, we've all been there as far as you show up to the site and maybe the exact opposite occurs. No one is there. There was severe weather in the area, either last night or this morning, or the site was flooded, whether there was some sort of sprinkler break or a pipe burst. And unfortunately, that wasn't communicated to your team. Unfortunately, nothing you can really do about the weather, but being able to track, communicate, post, and account for that is really the only way you can sort of mitigate that potential risk. So another big challenge we thought about was mitigating the risk, whether it's project delays or any sort of financial implications, really trying to just mitigate and protect those important subcontractors that really make the job site go round. So when I talk about in the future, think about this is what we mentioned as far as mitigating risk. Next, and the final challenge, we've all been in this situation one way or another. This is a bit of an extreme example, but in some form or another, we've all been there, whether it's we just installed a nice new piece of glass and then someone else is bringing their material by and scratch it up, or you just put in just applied some new paint and it gets touched, or someone's shoulder brushes it, and then obviously it's not up to snuff anymore. Or I know this is a bit of an extreme example, but I'm sure those concrete contractors out there, they've all had this happen to them in some form or another, whether it's a kid who stepped in it, didn't notice, or looked right past the orange cones, or a city rat that jumped in and just ruined that fresh concrete. Either way, the expectation is it needs to get fixed, and fixing it costs money. So the last challenge is really being confident in the work that your team has done, whether that wasn't the way it was when it was installed, or maybe there was an RFI that got answered on the fly, or a submittal got changed for a value engineering sort of initiative. But basically, you want to be confident in the work that your team has done and kind of protecting yourself, finishing that job out right, and kind of closing it out, being on to the next one. So that's just the last thing as far as a big challenge we wanted to address here. Next, just wanted to paint the visual that the job site, it's really, there's a lot of players, there's a lot going on, there's many stakeholders, there's different values, different drivers. There needs to be communication for upstream, downstream. Out of all of this chaos, we kind of pulled out those three challenges: the clear communication, mitigating of risk, whether it's delays or financial risk, and then proof of a quality install. This slide here, it's supposed to be a little chaotic. It's supposed to be a little hectic, but in reality, there's a lot of hard work going on and a lot to kind of manage on that job site. So this is really kind of painting that picture. And then out of all this, all those risks and challenges, those are kind of the big three that we pulled out: the communication, the mitigating of risk, and the importance of a quality install. So just wanted to also paint that full picture for you all as well. So this is where Fieldlens comes in ultimately, trying to address and help with all those challenges. What you're going to see here, you can kind of read off the screen here, but basically my summary is, what you'll see in Fieldlens is really a post-driven feed with up-to-the-second information. That's extremely important when things are happening on the fly. If there's a team out in the field versus an individual in the back office, that up-to-the-second information is really important. And staff or users have the ability to post images, videos, tag issues to drawings, perform markups, whether it's a markup on an image or a markup on a drawing themselves. They can send in RFIs, create submittals, and post that all to a centralized project page with whoever wants to have access can have access to it, or the owner can kind of dictate that. But obviously, a very extensive tool. The primary workflow is really posting from the mobile app and then viewing either from the web app or the mobile. But posts can be also done in the web app. The web app is really a great way to review all of the information, as well as create reports, which we'll show you shortly, and then manage the drawings, uploading new drawings. We're going to talk a little bit about the ability and capabilities with drawings. So there's a lot that can be done out of that mobile app as well as the web app. Today we're going to be working primarily off the web app, but it's really a great tool for it enables, empowers those in the field, and gives all that valuable information to the ones in the back office, as well as enables and empowers them. So just to give you a little bit of context and what we're going to be looking at as Fieldlens as a whole. So thinking about that first challenge that we touched on, going back and thinking about, everyone in that room where you're supposed to be working on. What you're going to see here in a minute is that that demo of helping situations that will, or tools that will help that sort of situation. You'll see a feed. We're going to talk about clear assignments with due dates, the ability to comment with timestamps, and they'll all be in that central location, as well as we're going to touch on the drawing capabilities, the ability to pin to specific spots, have locations, then a lot of different markup tools and capabilities as well. So just going to jump into the demo here in a second, but just wanted to kind of prime your mind for what you're about to see here. So what you'll see here, this is our primary feed page. We're going to quickly just jump into one of our filters on the left here. You can see that this is the punch list filter. And you can see we're also going to open up, we have many different filters here. We have all different types of advanced filters, whether it's by location or due date. You can create custom categories or who the issue or situation, maybe a submittal and RFI has been assigned to. Kind of scrolling through those filters as well. You can also search through everything. And we do have some pre-built-in flags and statuses as well. So this specific post, it's you can see it's an open deficiency here up in the top, in that orange area. You can see there's a punch list issue with a light fixture at the entry. And you can see there's all different descriptions. You can add a location there. You can see that it's an entry, and maybe there's a little bit of a conversation going on. So we're going to kind of take a look at that. You can see that for whatever reason, the light fixture didn't look the way it should have at the end of the day, but this individual has photo documentation of the way it did. It looked at the end of the day, and maybe, all right, so perhaps the painter was there at the end of the day when their crew left. So you can kind of quickly talk through with whether it's images or videos, comments, any sort of issue that might happen on site. And then it looks like we're going to try and assign it to maybe the painter who was on site after the fact. Looks like that in that situation is going to be me. And I think we're going to maybe assign this situation to me, and you can see set a due date. Setting due dates, is a clear, clear way to kind of resolve and set, it's a very black and white situation there. And you can see up at the top, now we have a new update. It's instant. So if that post were to happen from the office or happen from the field, that happens instantly. So the opposite situation, whether it's coming from the field, that person in the office knows. Next, we're going to switch over to any sort of safety post. You can see on the left-hand side, this is safety items right now. So obviously, safety items, extremely important on the job site. Once again, you can post images and assignments. If anything needs to be addressed, these can be extremely helpful. If you have any dangerous work happening, whether it's a hot work or a crane pick, great way to kind of alert your crew, whether it's making sure that they're kind of staying out of that area at the moment, or ensuring that they're making sure they're pulling their hot work permits or getting lane closures in the city. We quickly jump to the drawing section. You can see on that top tab now on the right-hand side, we are under the drawings. All different disciplines of the drawings, you'll see those are broken out. Very easy to jump through and see which section of drawings you want to look at. So we'll click into this drawing. One of the first things you see off the bat is that question mark in the top right-hand corner of that drawing. That indicates that there's a post there. Now we're going to kind of switch gears and post directly onto a drawing. You can see that that location was pinned directly to that spot on the drawing. In this situation, I think we're going to post something maybe about a paver mock-up. This is a really great habit to get into. If there's any sort of mock-ups on site, posting about those is extremely helpful, because a mock-up is done on site for specific reasons, whether they want to check it in a specific room or check in the lighting. But ultimately, it's it's a decision that needs to be made, and it's great to kind of have that on paper and have that documented. And you can write any sort of detail description that you want. This can be anything from just, literally a description of what the mock-up is, to if you wanted to add how big the crew was on site, anything like that. The details page or detail section can really be anything that you want to make of it. And you can see down the bottom, that drawing section, that's, once again, it's tagged and pinned right to that location, so there's no ambiguity as to where that is. There's assignments there. So once again, looks like we're going to assign it to the architect. And we're going to go even a step further in creating a custom category for this. I mentioned earlier, creating an on-site mockup category is great. You'll be able to filter through that category and always have access to that. So any point in time, if you need to go back and look at all your on-site mockups, you'll have the ability to do that. So now we're going to attach an image to it as well. You can see on the left, we integrate with Dropbox. You can look through your files on your computer, as well as any Google Drive, any sort of cloud software that you have to hold your images, Google Photos as well. We can select those. And then if you're on site, you'd use the mobile app. You can take a picture right then and there. You'll maybe have, if it's the architect or the GC on site who's selecting out of that mockup, maybe take a picture of them pointing to that one, or a signature next to it, whichever they prefer. And then you'll always have that digital backlog. If any situation arises in the future, you'll be able to have that as evidence that that one was the one that was selected. So now we're just going to dive a little bit deeper into the drawings. We're going to filter the drawings, see which ones have posts. You can see we have 5 drawings here. You can go in, see maybe there's a specific room that has a lot of action, whether it's RFIs, whether it's submittals, whether there's a lot of deficiencies in there. You can always go to that drawing, pick it out right away, work through that specific location. Maybe that's a critical path location. Very easy to look into those. If you saw there was a quick button selection on the top right there, that compare button, that's a great tool. This is basically comparing when you have older versions of drawings. Great feature. We all know that there's drawing updates, bulletins, revisions that are going to get issued. And when those issuances come out, there's oftentimes change orders involved there. So this tool allows you to open up and overlay both drawings at the same time. You'll see that they have a difference in color, and it'll show a direct comparison. That's how you can kind of quickly pick out any differences. So in this case, it looks like the blue would be the old version, and then the newer version is on top. I would say, overall, not a ton of changes. Maybe there's some furniture. You can see that blue furniture was changed. In that central region, there's that red specific detail that was maybe eliminated. And then maybe in that top left-hand section, I don't know, maybe that was some sort of box out for a riser that got adjusted, or it was removed because it had a conflict with the door. But great feature, great comparison tool, really nice if you're updating and need to issue any sort of change order, or just even direct your guys that what scope has changed. Another great feature is our markup tools. We have 2 different types of markups. The first one really enables you to mark up and attach to a post. You can easily mark up and attach it. Maybe it's an RFI, or maybe you're just directing your team to where stop pouring concrete. Something as simple as that. You can create that markup. You'll see in a second, directly post it to your page. You can, assign it to maybe your foreman who's out in the field there. So there's, no questions asked there, very easy, clear direction there. The next type of markup that we're going to show is what's called a redline markup. So these redline markups, maybe there's a new revision or there's a bulletin that isn't quite issued yet, but either something isn't accurate in the current drawing or something's going to be changed. A redline markup is permanent, and it's company wide, so everyone knows, even if it's their first time viewing it, that hey, this is a permanent markup. This is here for a reason. We've all been on the job site where whether it's a superintendent or a foreman's walking around with a very old set of drawings that has yellow and pink highlighter on it, or pencil marks as well. Now, if you have a tablet and access to Fieldlens, you don't need to walk around and have a marked up drawing. You can have the latest and greatest, whether it's a new issuance, a new revision, or if you're someone back in the office has created a redline markup, that's going to be there, and you'll have like the latest and greatest information. And you can even see there's a little warning that says, hey, this is permanent. This is going to be issued to everyone, just to make sure you're sure. And you can go ahead and confirm that, or if maybe you don't want to at the time, you don't have to. But it's a nice little buffer there as well. So one of the important things about keeping everyone on the same page is also making sure that everyone has access. So we switched over just to the People tab at top, second from the right there. And this People tab shows you who has access to the project. And then, of course, you're going to want to add any new individuals, any new people on your team. It's very easy to do so. If they're already in Fieldlens under your company, they'll be in that suggested people area. You can also search them, very easy to find. And if you don't have them necessarily in your Fieldlens database yet, then you can add them just with a simple email. You'll see it gives you a little preview of the welcome email that'll be sent out, and then you can send that out, and they'll have access once they create their login information. So from your actual page, you can also tailor your notification. So lastly, once you get everyone in there, then you kind of ask the question, well, how are they getting notified? How are they making sure that they get that they're staying on the same page and getting that up to the second information? Well, under the notifications, you can select really the best option that makes sense for you. You can see there's all different sort of scenarios of the post, whether it's assigned to you, sent to you, assigned to your company, posted by you. And then there's two rows of which makes sense, whether it's your mobile push notifications, so on your phone, or your email. And you can select those from the drop-down menu, whether you want them instantly, instantly and daily, or none at all. Really, whatever makes sense for you. And then you can custom tailor each one for each project too. So really great options there. Of course, everyone has their phone on site, so it's really a nice option to have those push notifications enabled when you have that Fieldlens app. Just wanted to kind of open up the Q&A and see if there are any questions based off of that demo here.
We do actually have a few questions for this section. So, Carrie, this is a good one for you. How many collaborators can I have on my project?
Great question. So you can invite as many collaborators as you need, from your customer to your subcontractors. Fieldlens can assist you, you and your team, to communicate with all of them. So everyone has access to the same information in real time.
Perfect. All right. Another one. What if my GC invites me to a project? What access level do I have? Eric, do you want to?
Yeah, sure. I can take that one. Yeah. So if a GC invites you to a project, they're most likely going to be on that ecosystem format, which means they'll have unlimited collaborators. So you'll have that same level of access. You'll have the drawings. You'll have the ability to create reports on that project.
Awesome. And it looks like we have one more so far. My team is currently using internal communication tool to keep everyone informed. What is the benefit of Fieldlens? Eric, do you want to give that one a go?
Yeah, so there's a lot of great sort of communication tools out there. I would say, it's Fieldlens is a great communication tool, as well as it's really geared towards construction. You have the drawing capabilities, you have the markups, you have all those built-in filters and categories I talked about. I mean, you can see there's safety lists, there's punch lists, there's daily reports on there. So you can have everything that's really built-in, construction geared. And then, on top of it, it is a great collaboration tool, and it is really, tailored. And like I said, it's built, by construction folks.
Okay, looks like there are no more questions for that section.
All right, great. So we'll get into, the next challenge. So the next challenge is really about mitigating the risk of project delays. I also want to touch on, financial delays, because that's, when time is sort of in the crosshairs. So is finances as well. So it's also important to talk about when you talk about project delays, think about finances as well. But so you'll see posts in real time and the importance of it. We'll kind of paint the situation of, when you saw that flooded job site, the importance of having real-time posts. You'll see that we do have weather capabilities within our posts, as well as once again assignments with due dates. So it's very clear, very black and white. And then the importance of the due dates, whether it's from a submittal or deficiency. So you have that ultimate awareness and being sure you're notified in all ways, shapes, or forms. So this first example, we're going to jump into thinking about that flooded job site once again. Here's a post that was, I think it was sent out maybe the afternoon after a long day of rain or flooding, assigned to the right people, and then you can even go ahead and take it a step further, and you can tag it. You can see it is tagged as a weather delay and schedule impact. So if you ever need to go back and sort of answer for those, whether it's pushing out of a schedule or maybe some liquidated damages, at the end of the project, you kind of answer, okay, well, we had, X amount of days under weather delays. So that's kind of some great evidence there for kind of hashing out those situations. Another situation is creating a post of an updated 10-day look ahead, your 2-week look ahead. Once again, extremely important to get that updated. You can assign it to the right people. Look, we're kind of working through majority of the job site here, making sure that everyone has that information, making sure that they, see the attached details for an updated look ahead based off of those schedule impacts from that weather delay. So really important, be a nice thing to know either the day before, the morning before you send out your crew and, kind of lose a morning. If you're able to kind of understand what's going on site, and then maybe kind of pivot and go to another job site that day. And then we talked about that custom category creation. You can update and create all those 10-day look ahead posts and put that in that category. And then ultimately you can filter and look at any updates. And then once again, selecting from our file database, whether it's Dropbox, your Google Drive, any sort of Google Photos, anything that you'd need there. And then once again, updates quickly. You can see it's in a lot of different people's courts, so they can see it, and the attachment of the actual schedule itself there. So just kind of shifting gears here. This is going to be a submittal post. You can see on the left-hand side, we filtered 2 submittals, right there, very easy to access, not hidden behind any additional buttons or anything like that. This specific submittal is for warranty information. So if you do have guarantees and warranties, great to have that in there as well. You can see there was a request for the warranty information of the roofing and siding and the cost code associated with it. They updated or uploaded some documentation, some media there. And then down at the bottom, haven't quite highlighted this yet, but you can see there is an add weather feature. It doesn't quite make sense in the submittal situation, but there is the ability to add weather to any post that's based off of the zip code in which your project is located. But just kind of thinking back to the submittal itself. So now in the current day and age, material and the delay, being able to track the timing of approved submittals really help mitigate that risk of any delays. If time is getting tight, whether it's a specific material that needs to get on site, you can make a comment, say, hey, this lead time is 3 weeks out. I really need this submittal approved by, X date. And you can see here in that running list of comments, there are timestamps with everything. You can see a list of everyone's activity on there. You can see how long ago it happened, everything like that. And now one of the really convenient features is within a certain view, whether you're in that submittal view or in that RFI view, you can export a report or make a report based off of what you're viewing. You can also kind of tailor it and tinker it to whatever you want. But if you're already viewing something, you say, hey, there's a lot of submittals that are kind of getting backlogged. These are going to start to impact the project. They're going to start causing delays. I want to make a report and I need to send these out to the correct individuals. You can do that. So right now we just created a report of a submittal list. You can title that however you want. You can format that however you want. You can see all those check marks. That's really the ability to update and adjust the forming, adjust the report and the format the way you want to. And now we're going to open up that schedule tool. You can see the ability and the options to schedule these. So this is really one of my favorite features in Fieldlens, is the ability to send out that report and schedule it. You can see it's scheduled to weekly, sent out on weekdays. You can select the specific time that it's even sent out on and when it'll start, maybe when it'll end, maybe it's only after one occurrence, maybe it's on a specific date, but really nice. You can kind of set those custom reports too. And then jumping back into the reports, you also have that running list of all the reports that you've created. Just clicked on one, opened it up. You can either create a report in PDF or an Excel, a CSV file. One of the nice things about the report in the PDF format is that will come through, whether you select to send it to people that are internal, external, that'll come through in an email form, and then that PDF will be attached. That can be opened on your phone. You can click into that report, view it. Then you can also click into and select any of the associated images that are with that report, as well as any documentation. So if maybe this is just a submittal report and the architect wants to view that on the phone, they can click into that specific document about the warranty, or maybe there's some safety data sheets attached to the report. So all that is clickable within the PDF, and then you can download that and view that on the off of the documents as well. And then if you do need to even change the schedule of anything, maybe you wanted to start changing, maybe you're creating deficiency reports or overdue item reports, you want to start adjusting those so they're sent out to maybe your foreman or your site super on Mondays, so they kind of have a task list that's maybe overrun from the week before. Great option to do that as well. So once again, based off of that demo, that one was obviously a little bit shorter than the first section, but based off that demo, just want to open up for any specific Q&A about what you just saw there, about anything as far as trying to mitigate risk on your project.
All right, we have 2 questions so far. What information can I share with the back office team, and how can they collaborate with my foreman and site crew? I think Eric and Carrie, there's probably things both of you can add to that one.
Yeah, sure. Carrie, if you want to go first, I can kind of tag on to it.
Sure. So as Eric just demonstrate, you can create all your posts on the job site, and you can send them to the back office. Once the back office receive them, they can create customized reports using our advanced filters to drill down on the data as much or as little as needed. So those reports can be sent to the subcontractors, and also, for example, they can filter out per location, per due days. If you want to just create reports for a certain subcontractor, you can do that from the back office, and that the reports can be shared with all the different stakeholders in your project. And how Eric demonstrated, you can schedule those reports to run automatically, and that's a great feature that it's one of my favorites. Back to you,
Yeah, it
Eric.
is a good feature. Yeah, that's a great answer, Carrie. I'll just add a little bit to it. When I think of the capabilities of Fieldlens for the folks in the field versus the folks in the office, sometimes it's really beneficial to kind of get some eyes and ears for the folks that are working in the office out to that job site. So you have all those live, very quick, up to the second posts, whether it's an image, a video, or an image with a markup. You can kind of enable, maybe that this person didn't necessarily ever set foot on site. Maybe they're an office person or a project executive that doesn't necessarily visit the field too often, but they can really have an idea of maybe what the damage looks like, or what the size of the leak, or how the pipe burst really impacted things. So I think it's just a really great opportunity to bring sort of the field into those office folks.
Awesome. The second question we have is, we use RedTeam Flex. Is Fieldlens a part of this package? Eric, you want to take that one?
Yeah, so I would say Flex, it's not necessarily a part of the package, but it's a great tool to integrate with. So we do have a great option to integrate the two. Great, Fieldlens is great on its own, Flex is great on its own, but even together they have a great power. Great opportunity to use Fieldlens as an awesome mobile tool as well as Flex. So I would say, if you have Flex and love it, try tacking on Fieldlens. It's a great field tool, and it has a lot of great features that we've kind of shown you today.
All right, there are no more questions.
Okay, so we'll go on to the last and final challenge. So thinking back to that scooter in the concrete, like I said, that was a bit of an extreme example, but documenting your finished work either through images or videos, showing and being proud of that completed work is something really to be proud of. And then having things change, whether it's submittal or an RFI, maybe there's some value engineering initiatives, having all that documented, kind of that paper trail of what is the latest and greatest, what was the final direction, is really important. And that gives you the confidence to know, hey, this is the correct work. I shouldn't be, charged or asked to do anything again. This was kind of the final direction. As well as I also think about RFIs on the fly. I think about light fixture heights, and for me, it was specifically like undermount versus top mounted sinks. Sometimes the owner wants it this way, maybe the architect wanted it that way. The owner is there in the field; they're going to make that decision. A little bit of maybe a clash, but this is the direction you're given. If it wants, anything can be adjusted, but we're not going to necessarily do it for free. So being confident in the work that your team has done is a really great empowerment there too. So show you a little bit, once again, a little more demonstration, talk about how we can kind of overcome those challenges. So once again, going to open up our advanced filters. You can see you have all those options. This time we're opening up custom category. You can see we've touched on a few of these custom categories, but in this case, we're going to open up the custom category of finished work. So this is a great habit to get into when you've closed out or you've completed your scope in a certain area. Take a picture of it. Take a bunch of pictures of it. The mobile tool really allows you to do that very quickly and easily. You can take as many pictures as you want. at a very quick instant. So we're going to open up a post. This is what our finished work looks like. Did a great job, and we're going to quickly export it. We're going to send it off to maybe the project manager or someone on the GC side to see those conditions when we're done, alerting them that, yeah, we've closed out the scope. And then we're going to dive into the customization of the reports a little bit more. You can see you can include the post info. You can include specific categories or weather or images or videos. And once again, really getting into the custom scheduling of it. The report is in PDF, so you can once again view it from your email and then click into any of those attached documents or images. I think a great habit to get into is even just creating a weekly report, making sure it's sent out on Friday at noon, 1 p.m., whatever, just to see all the work that you've been doing for that entire week. Once again, opening up that PDF, seeing all the information, you can see where they worked, what the scope that was worked on, and any images or people kind of in the process of installing that work too. So now we're going to switch over to the punch list. Punch list, it isn't a necessary item to close out the job, but we want to make sure from our point of view as subcontractors, they really get, we used to say only get one bite at the apple. So we can follow their direction. Maybe they wanted to fix a situation or adjust it slightly. We'll do that if it makes sense for us. But from that point, we're not going to do anything else if it's not in our contract or in our scope. So you can see that this individual, they made the updates, they made the changes. We're going to attach that picture, showing that we in fact did make that adjustment for them. And if they want to do anything else, then we'll kind of have to reevaluate. And you can see also that that was in our court. We closed it out, did what we need to do. And now that update is coming through instantly. You can see that it's no longer open. That deficiency is closed from our end. So just talking through one more scenario, this also happens too. Maybe there was a situation that you did install. In this situation, it's a gate. You had great documentation of your finished work, and then it did get scratched on the way out by someone else on the job site, and sort of a conversation going back and forth about it. And it eventually comes to, okay, yeah, you guys have earned, a change order in this case. Please go ahead and start to price that up so we can fix that and adjust that. You also have a running record of that too. And in this case, you can assign it to maybe someone else who needs to add pricing, whether it's someone on your estimating team or anybody who's going to put that quote together. You'll have that ability to kind of put that in their court. Maybe it was changed from a deficiency on your end, but instead it's going to be, all right, let's go ahead and price this for them because they need that fixed. And now that's open in that individual's court. And you have all those custom tags there you can see it's change order, QA, QC, any maybe damage. Beauty about those customized tags is that's, a great way you can pull up anything. I think having any sort of change order tags is really important. We used to call it horse trading, but when you kind of get into that towards the end of the project, there's situations that maybe you had a favor done or you did a favor, being able to look through all that documentation, the back end really helps you to kind of smooth out and make sure everything kind of closes out swimmingly. So just to recap, we've talked about those 3 challenges and really help Fieldlens, how Fieldlens helps mitigate and manage the risk, provided clear and open communication, as well as facilitate any sort of documentation, whether it be completion photos, RFI answers on the fly, or maybe you want to submittal was approved, so it made sure it stayed on track and pushed the job along. And I really hope you enjoyed what you saw today. Based off of what you saw, I would love if you could sign up for whether it's a free account or if you want to upgrade your free account. We do have the option to take those next steps here. But anyone who's joining us for the first time, feel free to sign up for that free account. Take out your phone. That QR code is going to work on the screen there. So you can do that. Sign up for that free account. Take your phone out, pull up the camera. Make sure you tap and focus that one. And then, if you do have that free account, you want to kind of make that jump to that paid license, get all the nice features of the drawings, the reports, and those custom filters. You can go ahead and do that with that bottom QR code as well. So we'll leave that up on the screen here for a few minutes if anyone wants to take that action. But we really just wanted to say thank you and really appreciate all the work that you do, as well as coming to this webinar and taking the time out of your day. So once again, I'll just remind everyone that this webinar it was recorded. We're going to share the recording as well as all the slides, and then the Q&A information as well. I'm sure there's some questions that maybe some repeat questions other people had. So rest assured you'll get all of that information as well. But thank you. We're going to open up the Q&A now. So, really looking forward to your questions.
All right. So far, we have 3 questions. What are the benefits of having my own Fieldlens license? Eric, that's probably a good one for you.
Yeah, I can take that one. So having your own Fieldlens license, really empowers you to kind of manage your project the way you want to, whether you want to keep it internal, whether you want to keep it external, and give everyone access to that. You can also create your own standard operating procedures. You can really start to mold the framework of how you want to operate in the field and how that information gets back to your office. So it's great to have your own Fieldlens license, and hopefully you can also get others to join you as well. It's a great collaboration tool. Once you hit that certain threshold, I touched on it a second ago. Once you hit that certain threshold of 10 paid users, then you get the ecosystem, which allows for unlimited collaborators. So it's really, it's a great benefit to everyone on your job site.
Perfect. Is there a limit to the number of projects we can create and store information in? Carrie, you want to take that one?
Yeah, of course. So there is no limit to the number of projects you can create. You can add as many data as you want, and that will be stored in Fieldlens. You can create even projects that you haven't bid on yet, and you can communicate with your internal team, track your data, your photos, everything to have it ready for when the time to bid comes. You have all the information you need.
Perfect. That also kind of answered the last question we have. So somebody asked about we sometimes need to store data or photos for projects we're bidding on. So how much flexibility do we have? So that kind of,
as I said, you can upload as many videos, photos, even from spreadsheets, PDF documents, and any other file type in between those. You can upload to Fieldlens, and there is no limit on how much amount of data you can store there.
I'll just add a little bit to that too. It's also there's no harm in starting to take photos as soon as possible, even before the first shovels hit the ground. It's always great to have the documentation of existing conditions if you're trying to replicate something, or maybe you want to know, like, hey, what did that look like? It's always great kind of that time travel ability. So it's a great benefit to have unlimited photos, but it also can help you in the long run of your project as well.
Yeah, now that you mentioned that, Eric, we have clients that have been with Fieldlens for over 10 years, and they have about 3,000 projects and countless posts with documents and photos that they can only go back and relate to those photos if they need, to track something from even months or years ago.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, just to remind you, everything's going to get sent out after this. If you have any additional questions or you want to, get in contact with anybody, feel free to reach out respond to the email that'll be sent out to you. Anyway, feel free to get in contact, work through the website, anything. We're all, excited to talk to you and really here to help. So thank you once again. We really appreciate everybody.